Welcome back, everyone, to Nancy Drew Midnight in Salem, where last episode, if you haven't watched it, go watch it because it will be so confusing if you start from here and it really will be confusing. Go back and watch the other episode and then come straight back to this one. Onwards to the town square. Let's see what's going on over there. Hey, that rhymed.
Visitors! By now you know the story of the witches of Salem. Those poor souls were caught in a time of fear and greed, and they paid the price. They may have died, but witchcraft lives on in Salem.
Oh, this should be interesting.
The world would have you believe witches were not real. I'm not talking about old, ugly women who curse their neighbors and fly on broomsticks. The truth is, witches are real. They have always been real. They are alive and well. They are powerful, carrying the secrets of the world beyond the one we see. Ritual, mystery, magic. Most exist now only in secret, and they may be standing among you even now. It is said that in Salem, a coven of witches settled in recent years, set on revenge for the deaths of the Salem witches. Their ritual, one midnight on Halloween, unleashed the angry spirits of the past.
That's so cool.
How did you do that? Thank you. Now, if any of you are interested in the real history of the witches of Salem, I provide self-guided tours through some of my favorite locations in town. And perhaps you too will see one of the restless dead.
A thief in Austria used the same kind of stage magic she's using.
Thief? There was a thief? What were you doing there?
Visiting a spooky old castle. You'd have liked it.
Do you regularly fly to Europe for investigations?
Sometimes.
And if you want to learn about being a witch, come forward.
Ooh, I do.
Uh-oh, here comes trouble.
Me? Never. Well, nothing too bad, I hope.
Did you know that in the Malleus Maleficarum, ginger hair was the sign of a witch? You're my kind of people.
I'm not nearly as talented as you are.
Aw, shucks. You're making me blush. Oh, there it is. Now I'm turning red. You truly are a witch.
So to become a witch, do I need to take a test or get a diploma?
A true witch is not made with pieces of paper. She is born to it and will feel the call. Bureaucracy is for persecutors. We don't need permission. We don't live by the rules. Anyway, what can I help you with?
Have you lived in Salem for long?
Born and raised.
So you know the Perrys?
Of course. Not well. If you were looking for them, Tegan is at the museum. She works there.
Not well. We're staying with Tegan. I figured there was some history between you two.
That was a long time back. We don't talk much now.
And May?
Yes, I know her too. Not spoken to her for a long time either.
But you've heard the rumors about her.
May is a troubled girl. And sometimes such girls get blamed for things that were not their... I don't think she burned down the Hathorn house, if that's what you're trying to get at. People with mundane minds look for mundane explanations.
How often do you do this show?
Most nights. It gets busier around Halloween. And I'm sure you can figure out why.
How about the night that the Hathorn house was burned?
You look a little young to be working for the police, dear.
Oh no, it's nothing like that. We're just curious tourists.
Good. Because I've already spoken with them.
And so, you were here.
I was out of town. Did you girls know that Salem is haunted? There's a ghost here. If you go on my tour, you'll learn where you can find it.
How did you perform that trick?
A witch never reveals her secrets. It's against the witch code.
A code? I thought bureaucracy and rules were for persecutors.
Although, if you take my self-guided tour, I promise you will learn at least one secret about being a witch.
Do you really believe some modern witch coven unleashed ghosts on Salem?
About 8 years back, there were rumors of a coven that they performed a ritual to return the dead witches to Salem to seek out their revenge before the witches moved on.
Is there any evidence of such a coven?
Ever since then, ghost sightings have gone through the roof. Salem is now considered the most haunted place in the country.
Interesting.
You think it's a coincidence that the former home of the Hathorns was set on fire?
How else could the fire have started?
I heard there was not a single living soul in the house when it started burning. Keyword: living. The world is composed of 2 equal parts: dark and light. The light we see every day. It's the trees, the people, the birds. It's our world. You can even see it at night. The dark is the unknown. A plane of existence that vibrates just underneath the light. But if you were in a place like Salem, a place where a painful history permeates every surface, every crack, every brick, and every tomb, the dark will appear. Usually when you least expect it. That's why they say, don't be out past midnight in Salem, because the dark may reach out and take you. Also, did you know that Salem has more ghost sightings than any other city in North America? If you want to learn why, you should go on my tour.
Talk to you later.
We need to figure out how to take her tour. I might have not asked her.
Darn, missed the opening hours. Better luck tomorrow.
Okay, let's go see what the judge has. I think it's this way.
That group
And we
is
get to
really
figure out why
chanting
there's
up a
so many
storm.
protesters over there.
What has them so angry?
Let's see, who's... I guess this way.
Yes, can I help you?
Hi, sorry to bother you, but we were looking for Judge Danforth's office.
Just across the hall. Why? What did you 2 girls do?
We didn't do.
I'm kidding. Alicia Cole, Esquire.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nancy Drew, and this is Deirdre Shannon. You're a lawyer.
Salem's best. The only practicing lawyer in the historic town limits, if you could believe it. And if you girls were in any trouble, I'd have no problem representing you. You both have that innocent look. Juries love it.
So you're saying we could get away with a crime?
We?
No? Partners in crime?
Sorry to bother you, Miss Cole. We'll check in with the judge. Have a good evening.
Well, that wasn't him. Maybe he's straight across the hall.
You'd really become my enemy if I committed a crime?
Sorry. You shouldn't joke about that.
Why? You gonna arrest me?
No, but I'd call the police to report you. I'd also recommend you a decent lawyer, because I'm an excellent witness for the prosecution.
Wow.
I'm a lawyer's daughter, Deirdre.
Nancy sounds really high-strung.
Judge Danforth.
Scary.
Yeah, hello. Ted, is that you?
Ted?
No, Your Honor. My name is Nancy Drew. I think you've spoken with my father.
Nancy Drew? Carson's daughter?
Yes, and I'm with my friend Deirdre Shannon. We're investigating the arson of the Hathorn house.
Ah, yes, yes.
Can we come in?
Well, you see, no, I mean, I'd let you in, but I seem to have been locked in my office and I need some help getting out.
Do you know where I could find a key to your office?
Yes, I believe I gave a copy of the key to Alicia Cole as backup. She's just down the hall. I hope she's still here.
said you might have a key.
Sorry, I gave him my spare. Unbelievable. Does this ever end?
Oh, well then, do you have a paperclip?
Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, what business do you two have with the judge?
We're helping the judge with a case.
Anything I can assist you with?
Thanks, but I think we got it. No need for a lawyer. At least, not yet. Judge Danforth? I couldn't find your key.
What? Alicia said she'd keep a copy for me.
Well, I did find a paperclip. I think I can pick your lock, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure, fine.
This shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Still got it.
Efficient. How'd you learn to do that, actually?
Online video tutorial.
Someday you have to tell me about your secret life of breaking and entering, Drew. Because you're in danger of being cool. Which, honestly, I just don't like.
Someday.
Some interesting stuff here.
Ah, those protesters are out there again, stirring the pot. You know, this town used to be a quiet place. It seems lately there's been an element that has infiltrated our community. I have no doubt one of those troublemakers locked my door and threw away the key. Now, Nancy, your father and I have discussed.
Oh, sorry. I'm not Nancy.
Of course you're not. You look nothing like Carson. Did your father ever tell you about the time we won 4th place at the Lake Winnipesaukee Regatta? You see, at the time I had 20/10 vision, so I was the navigator and...
Judge, this is Deirdre Shannon. She's working with me on the case.
Deirdre, you're the one who tried to break down my door.
Breakdown?
Your Honor, that's an exaggeration. I was knocking. Heavily.
Look, I'm really busy dealing with this Hathorne House business. Being a judge is not as simple as, you know, investigating during your free time.
Ouch.
Well, we just
Dick.
used our free time to unlock your door. So I'm sure you'll be willing to repay us with some answers to our questions. Right?
I like how Deidre thinks.
Yes, of course. What can I help you girls with?
Can you explain to us how you're involved with the Hathorne House?
Well, yes. The house was built by Judge John Hathorne during the 1600s, and it represented the oldest surviving structure from that era. Judge Hathorne, of course, was one of the 3 judges that presided over the Salem witch trials.
Yes, and I'm sure we can read all about the home's history in Salem's museum.
More recently, Frances Tuttle, Judge Hathorne's last direct descendant, lived in a small section of the house while the rest was left to fall into considerable disrepair. She was alone, except for a part-time caregiver, Lauren Holt, who had a bedroom in the carriage house. A few months ago, Frances Tuttle passed away, which left Hathorne House without a legal heir. According to the historical statutes of Salem, after 90 days, the house reverts to public property, the deadline of which is 2 days from now, at midnight.
I was told that the burning of Hathorne House is suspected to be a case of arson. How did the police come to that conclusion?
The investigation found paint solvent residue on burnt embers, suggesting someone deliberately used an accelerant. Thankfully, Mrs. Tuttle never had to see what became of her home.
And what evidence do you have that May Perry is the one responsible for this?
Evidence? Have you ever heard of recidivism? 3 out of 4 criminals in the United States are repeat offenders. And there's only one person in all of Salem who has a history of fire-related crime.
So, there is no evidence.
Not yet, but there will be.
You don't need evidence. She's already been convicted in the court of public opinion.
Is that what she said?
No, I'm saying it.
She has a history with this sort of thing.
What's May's motive? What does she gain by burning down the Hathorn house?
You'd have to ask her. And while you're at it, you can ask about her alibi, which she refused to give to the police. So, any other questions?
So, how did Frances Tuttle pass away exactly?
The woman was 88 years old. The coroner confirmed her death was of natural causes.
So they never investigated Lauren Holt.
You need the suspicion of foul play to investigate someone, young lady.
We'd like to speak with her all the same.
She still lives on the estate, although for how much longer we do not know. You can also find her in her shop, Luminescent Fusions. She might be willing to talk to you.
So the Book of Apologies. Why did you really need it?
Yes, and first of all, I'm so glad you're all right. Nasty business. Had I known you were going to be put in harm's way, I would have never called Carson and asked for his help.
I've done plenty of work for my father. Trust me, I can handle myself.
Yes, I'm sure you can.
So I've already heard some stories, but would you mind giving me your version of why the book is important?
Yes, so Judge Sewell was rumored to keep a ledger of all the accused, intending to publish it to reconcile with their families and clear their names. But he passed away before he could do so.
Going to Austria for a rumored book seems like a heck of a long shot.
Well, I have been under some pressure from the AW group. AW as in accused witches.
Don't you think it's dangerous throwing around May's name as a suspect before any evidence links her to the crime?
What do you mean? What are you saying?
From what you've described, there is no evidence against May. Yet you were saying that she did it. As a judge, I think you would be the first to admit that sounds prejudicial.
It is not just me, Miss True. There are plenty of people who believe that May is responsible for this crime. It is not prejudice when she is the only likely suspect.
Actually, that is the definition of prejudice.
I'm not going to have this debate with you. Is there anything else?
Talk to you later.
Miss True, before you go, there is something else I need your help with.
You're not locked out of your car, are you?
Oh, no. There was an incident here recently. Someone broke into the evidence room.
Oh. Have you called the police?
Well, no, not yet. I don't think anything was taken. Never mind. I'll call the police. Thank you for your time.
You know, you're kind of a suspicious judge. Just saying. Hey, this is Editing Sam. Just saw that there's a green, green, what's it called? Green signal, no, not green signal, green.
Maybe we can learn something about the town.
There's a green thing on the cell phone. The problem is, in my day-to-day life, I'm bad at answering alerts. So, if it bothers you, I'm sorry. It's gonna be a while before I answer that. Okay, let's head to the museum and see what we can talk to Tegan about. Ooh, what's this thing? Remembering the wrongly accused, may history never again be repeated. That raven looks like a key.
The figure of a Puritan woman accused of being a witch. These were ordinary people, just like anyone else.
Hey look, we can look all the way around her. Whatever this place is, it's closed. Crofts Emporium.
The carefully researched genealogy of several accused witches. Their names weren't fully cleared until 2001.
The 1692 Witch Trials discover the most enduring and emotional events in American history. Ooh, let's carve a pumpkin. Now, which face do we choose? There. I like that one.
Done. This looks great.
He kind of reminds me of like a
Now
Jack
to find a
Skellington.
nice place to put it.
I guess I can't make another one. But
Not yet.
I will figure out where they belong and we will put them everywhere. Because I'm pretty sure that's like an achievement.
Hey, sorry about the mess. We're in the middle of installing a big showcase. So what have you seen in town so far?
We decided to do the Real Witches tour.
Oh, you talked to Olivia.
What's with her getup? Witch? Street magician, maybe?
Everyone has to make a living. Is she telling the story about a coven living here in the recent past?
Yeah. Why?
Just bad taste.
Olivia is quite the local character. I hope you don't mind if we do the tour. I want to see more of the town, and finding out a place's old superstitions is kind of a habit I've gotten into. I'm excited to look around the museum.
Of course.
Oh, so it looks like in order to start the tour, we needed this ticket. Now let's explore this museum and see what we can read. Doesn't look like any of these books we can touch yet. But we can touch like, looks like 2 of these. Let's see what they say.
Witches, like Abigail Johnson, just 11.
Sorry. What? Bloodline of the accused. The Salem witch trials are a tragic time where those accused of witchcraft were not only adults. The hysteria and accusations implicated even the youngest in Salem, the children. Many children were accused, tried, and put into prison. Wow. In 1692, Abigail Johnson, at the age of 11, was one such child accused of witchcraft. Her mother, Elizabeth Johnson Sr., was also accused of witchcraft in the trials. Abigail had lost her father in just 2 years before the Salem trials, and she was being raised by her mother and grandfather. The trials were known for accusing many... The trials were known for the accusing of many widows and people who had been in trouble for a number of reasons, especially those... who may have been relatives who were outspoken against the trials or came from a position of wealth. Such was the case for young Abigail. History notes that her grandfather was an elderly critic of the witch trials and was known to be outspoken about the injustices of the trials proceedings. Abigail and numerous members of Abigail's family were accused of witchcraft. The examinations were known to take into account members of the families for many of those accused. For Abigail, this included her mother, her sister, and one of the more famous persons accused in the trials, her aunt, Abigail Faulkner. Abigail seems like a very popular name here. Aunt Abigail Faulkner. Abigail Faulkner was arrested around the same time as young Abigail and accused of afflicting others, resulting into her confession. For Abigail Johnson, this time in her life was a long series of examinations, accusations, trials, and depositions. Her aunt was arrested on August 11th of 1692. Her testimonies resulted in an arrest warrant being issued for young Abigail Johnson on August 29th, even though she was only 11. Abigail's widowed mother was also arrested. Wow. The Johnsons... Crap. I got a little lost. There you go. Sorry, I skipped ahead too fast. The Johnsons were arrested and examined on September 16th. Shortly after, Abigail's brother was arrested. Other family members, including her cousins, were examined and are recorded as being among the young children who were accused witches of Salem. Okay, next page. The trials appeared to have embroiled suspicion accusations where neither family nor child were spared from the implication, questioning, and arrest. For Abigail Johnson, while both she and her family were arrested, none were among those who were executed. Still, the accused who were in prison suffered from poor conditions and the loss of friends and family. After the trials, many of the accused were known to have petitioned the court for payment for their losses and asked for the courts to clear their family names. The family of Abigail Johnson, who were accused of witchcraft, included her brother, Stephen Johnson, and her older sister, Elizabeth Johnson. The fear of dark evil spirits possessing the people of Salem, both the old and the young, caused a hysteria, resulting in 20 people executed and over 200 accused of witchcraft. Sadly, the hysteria started with accusations that actually originated from young children. When Elizabeth Parris, age 9, Abigail Williams, age 11, claimed to be possessed by the devil and blamed local witches for their actions. Oh, asshole children's. Ironically, these first accusers were children. Their accusations became the spark that led to young children, even younger than Abigail Johnson, to be added to the growing list of accused. When the children who were accused of witchcraft were arrested, like Abigail Johnson, they endured pain while kept in what the locals call the witch jails. The children accused and arrested had cold and dark walls in the prison, with rats and little food. Dorothy Dorcas Good was the youngest child in the trials. She was accused when she was only 4. She was the youngest among the accused and had to spend 8 months in a prison dungeon. The trials ended for little Dorothy, but her mother, Sarah Good, was later executed. The little children accused of witchcraft in Salem witch trials suffered and are always to be remembered as we honor the accused. Wow, that's messed up shit. Let's see what this one has to say. The Salem of Yesterday by Professor Beatrice Hotchkiss. It's Hotchkiss! She came out in a couple episodes back, or even in the previous one, maybe. Don't quote me on that. She's this eccentric little. She's not little. She doesn't look little, but she's this eccentric old author. She has fiery red hair, and you know what? We came across her with the Ghost of something mansion. That's when we hear about Professor Hotchkiss. Actually, no, that's the last time we hear about Professor Hotchkiss, because she came out again. Oh, I think in the Japan one. She's a funny little. I keep calling her little because I think she's little, but she's such a big personality. It's like, no, she can't be little. Anyway, but she's really good at writing things like historically, but with some, whether it's paranormal phenomenon, or that's the genre that she's in. There we go. Roger Conant founded Salem in 1626 as a colonial town, which was first called Namkeg, for the settlement's location at the mouth of the Namkeg River. I am sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. The settlers wanted to call it Salem, inspired by the Hebrew word for peace. Despite the peaceful beginnings of as a settlement of immigrants, Salem is best remembered for the witch trials of the 17th century, the deadliest witch hunt in American history. England had their own witch trials also in the 17th century and had passed a Witchcraft Act, making it the law to put anyone who practiced witchcraft to be put to death. The settlers knew about the dangers of witchcraft through their own histories, but history still repeated itself. From 1692 until 1693, over 200 were accused. The Court of Oyer and Terminer were established by Governor William Phips to interrogate those accused for the work of the devil, witchcraft. Phips and his active deputy governor Thomas Danforth, you mean like Judge Danforth? Both men of position and wealth, appointed judges to preside over the trials. One of the harshest judges on the accused was the rich and powerful magistrate Judge John Hathorne. Hathorne's examinations and interrogations relied on spectral evidence, and it has been noted in history that he often judged with an assumption of guilt. Not good. Many people no, it's not many people, sorry. Many believe the accusers often gained in wealth and land rights from their accusations and sentencing that was solely based only on spectral evidence. After the dark period of the trials, laws were changed and Salem's shipping and merchant economy grew. The settlement became a place of assembly for officials during the War of Independence. Many luminaries hailed from Salem, including noted author Nathaniel Hawthorne, born in 1804.
Let's see.
See something strange? We call something nightly ghost tour, Salem something or other.
Let's see. There's something off about that bookcase. Need a closer look.
Let's ask her some questions. Maybe she has.
How's the investigating
Oh,
going?
I don't know.
I've got
Let's just
some
ask her some
leads.
questions.
I haven't had much progress with May, though. I was wondering if I could ask you a couple of questions, if you have time.
Sure thing. How can I help?
What's this new showcase about?
Yes, this new showcase is going to be really cool. Just in time for Halloween, you know?
But what is it about?
If you come back on Halloween, I'll show you.
So, what's the deal with these pumpkins?
Oh, yeah. I've prepared some pumpkins that visitors can carve and bring with them to place around Salem. Feel free to give it a try if you want. It's really fun and completely free.
Do you have any more information about the Salem witch trials?
Did the exhibitions manage to spark your interest?
They did. I found this display showing the ancestry of the accused, but it didn't seem fully complete. I was wondering if you had more information stored here somewhere.
Well, we do have the upper floor, which is also where I keep most of my accused witches stuff.
Would it be okay for me to go up there? I'd really like getting a better picture of the history of Salem.
Usually we don't allow people up on the second floor. It's restricted. But maybe just this once I can make an exception. You are here to help after all. So if you think it would benefit you, feel free to go up there.
Thank you.
I'll open the door for you. It's actually really cool. The stairs are hidden behind a bookcase. Hold on.
Whoa, that is so cool. I want one like that in my own home.
Talk to you later.
And we're on the second floor where we have all of the historical and old books. Well, this concludes our episode 2. Thank you for sticking around and watching it. If you would like to come back for episode 3, where we actually go through the upstairs and see what's going on down here and then just continue with our story, because there is so much more to do in Salem, then stick around, like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, or you know what, I'm sorry, I just realized I never got to that green thing. What is it called? The green little hey look at me button. I forgot what those words are. Anyways, I forgot to look at that. It's normal for me in my daily life. I don't look at those, and it didn't register to me to look at that. So, sorry, I will do better going forward as best as I can. And we will see what we're going to do next.